Hello, my name is Megan O'Russell.
And my name is Christopher Russell, and welcome back to Page by Page, writing the book in real time. We are still in Laurie's story in our in-betweezen. Sorry, I just wanted to get those out of the way.
And other words for fun.
Look, you call it what you want. Why have our cats lost their minds?
So we are home from our month, basically, of travel.
Oh my gosh.
We're not spending another night in a hotel for like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah.
7 weeks.
Oh, yeah, right. When we go to Florida SuperCon. Yeah. So I think that's like 6 weeks. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, our babes missed us very, very much. And in their kitty way of showing it, they have lost their little minds.
They have, actually. Mo, or Bubba, as you probably know him better, is currently just being so weird. He's like stalking Maribel. Maribel is our murderer. She likes to eat lizards. Don't worry, we don't just let her have lizards. But if they get into the house, there's not really a whole lot we can do.
We can't, honestly. She's faster than us.
Yeah. But Bub was like, I'm gonna get her, and then leapt off the bed, not in her direction, and ran away. And she literally looked at us like, what the fuck was that? And I'm like, oh my God, there he goes.
And away he goes. Actually, no, I think the weirder thing was, so normally, because I usually, with the brain injury and the lupus and the migraines and the why does my body want me dead, I usually take like a half-hour nap and then like a 10-minute nap every day to just like reset my brain, give my body a chance to just like stop panicking. And usually Bubba doesn't actually let me nap because he's like, yes, this is the time of the belly scratch. Come, woman, give me the belly scratch. And if he doesn't want belly scratches, he doesn't show up. But since we've been home, he has been so possessive of belly scratches. He chased his sisters off the bed more than once, and today he did not want belly scratches. He wanted to clean himself, but he couldn't let anyone else have belly scratch time, so he literally pinned my hand with his back paw, digging his claws into my skin so that he had my hand and no one else could have it. And if I tried to move it, he dug in deeper. So that was his hand, and that was where it was going to be unless I wanted to bleed. So, he's very possessive of nap time with Mama right now.
How are your children doing? Ours are cats and assholes. So I want to talk a little bit after the episode about, not the episode, but the chapter about how the retreat was and things that we're doing now from that. Because, y'all, it was just absolutely incredible. We're exhausted, but it was amazing. It was literally cramming a year's worth of learning at least into 4 days. Not even, like 3.5. It was incredible. And an incredible group of people.
So there's a good reason my mind's just going,
Yeah, there absolutely is.
My brain sounds like E.T.
But I do want to talk about the fact that you received word from Tampa.
Yes. Yeah. So I had been talking to Tampa Bay Comic-Con.
Tampa Comic-Con.
Wait,
I'll look at it.
Do the Google.
Do the Google.
I had been talking with them about the possibility of presenting a panel in their con at the beginning of August. And I got word today that I am going to officially be presenting the World by World, or Stone by Stone.
There you go.
The Stone by Stone session.
Tampa Bay Comic-Con.
Tampa Bay Comic-Con. I will be presenting Stone by Stone, which is a world building workshop. So what it is looking at the tiny details that help you create consistency in your world building.
Y'all, in case we haven't said this before, she literally was able to tie fertility of land to the weapons wielded by people in this world.
But it makes sense.
It absolutely does, but we're not going to give it away. You have to come to one of the conventions to hear about it.
Anyway, so it's a fun session.
Basically, I just want people to come say hello. That's all.
I do like saying hello.
I know.
But basically, we talk about world building. We talk about some ways to create intuitive world building so that you're not overwhelmed by every micro decision. I'm doing so well. I had a migraine this morning. I took a migraine medicine, y'all.
And then she got a second migraine.
I know.
Life is not nice to you.
Rude.
I know.
That was rude. Anyway, so
that was pretty fucking rude.
I love that a quote from a Broadway musical went so huge. Anyway, but
Stone by Stone?
Yes, Stone by Stone. It's just a way to help you not get overwhelmed by all the little nitty-gritty details that you have to figure out as you build a fantasy world, a dystopian world, any kind of not reality that you're going to be working
Well, and my
in.
favorite thing about this too is that when you do this, you have people that are there, like attendees, talk about, like you say, okay, so what kind of world are we working with here? Is it fantasy, sci-fi? Like just pick one, and they do, and then you're able to riff off of that like so well, and it all works.
What we're doing is we are actively together creating a fantasy, dystopian, whatever it is we pick, world.
Yeah.
And we're not making the big sexy decisions like how magic systems work or whose bloodline murdered who to get the throne of the blurgity blurg.
The Silver Bloods.
Yes, the Silver Bloods. That's actually, that's Red Queen.
I know.
But anyway, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. What do you mean? I haven't read it, but I know that.
It's a really good series.
Yeah.
And also
Victoria
I love
Aveyard's amazing on
her
BookTok.
TikTok is fantastic.
She's great.
But it's figuring out the little things that help you build people's homes, people's reactions to food, the way men and women interact in society, and the ways to figure out how to weave all those details in without making yourself panic.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really, really cool. So, if you are in the Tampa Bay area at the beginning of August, come check us out. We'll let you know the exact date a little bit later on. We don't know exactly.
They haven't announced the
event
schedule yet,
yeah.
But I am confirmed to have that panel. I just don't know the date and time.
Yeah. Okay, so let us go ahead and introduce the beverage of the week. This is a very, very simple, just whiskey and ginger. Yeah,
we love a whiskey and ginger.
With Elijah Rye, yummy, and Fever Tree ginger beer because it is the best. If you know of a better one, let me know. Cheers.
Wait, are you trying to start a ginger beer competition?
No, I'm sorry. That could have sounded very much like, if you know of a better one, let me know. Like, please show me a better one. It's what?
Birch beer.
Gross, really? Mm-hmm. Oh, gosh.
Birch beer, to me, tastes like bonfires where no one had a video phone.
That's because the first time you had it was at Allenbury.
I know. It tastes like freedom.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, but there were video phones. It's just that, like, iPhones were very new.
Well, iPhones were very new, and
Blackberries
that footage was so fuzzy.
It was terrible. Yeah.
No one could tell what you were doing.
Terrible. It's terrible. We didn't have iPhones until, 5 years after that. 4 or 5 years after that. Yeah.
I'm just glad we didn't have Pinterest before we were married.
Yeah, no, me too.
That would have been awful.
Thank you, Pinterest, for not existing at that time.
Maybe it existed.
That's true. Maybe it just hadn't gotten
gotten on my radar.
Right. I feel like I say okay so way too much on this podcast. So we're going to actually try a different segue this time. Mm-hmm. We were just talking about campfires at Allenbury. Speaking of things that happened in the past, how about a previously on, Megan?
Well, okay then.
I'm a genius. You're welcome.
Yeah. Previously on. And other words for fun. After 7 Ethereans die at Club Styx, Laurie convinces Creepy Jay to help her bring a gut-wounded, really oozy erebite back to her apartment.
She's an author, y'all.
I am an author. Speaking is not my specialty.
You were a professional actor for, like, how long?
People gave me scripts. It was all scripted. But she brings the erebite girl back to her apartment and puts her in some runes to keep her from killing people and kind of hopes for the best. But as so often happens in life, the best does not, in fact, appear. I took migraine medicine. I'm doing my best.
It's great. Oh, man. Okay, I can't wait.
My eyeballs are cold.
That's so weird. I can't wait. I cannot wait to hear what this week's song is leading into the chapter.
Was that a good enough previously on?
You know what? We're gonna fucking go with it, man. All right, but are you ready for your song? Huh? Are you ready for it? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So then I proudly present to you And Other Words for Fun by Megan O'Russell. Are we having fun yet?
I
thought Ethereans were... Okay, all right, that's enough. Okay, thank you. I thought Ethereans were anal. You said anal. I thought Ethereans were anal about hiding their secrets from other Etherean races. Sorry. Our paranoid neuroses are nothing compared to erebites. Creepy Jay helped me bandage the poor, unconscious, still oozing erebite girl's stomach. I just sort of, please don't judge, mashed the bits together and taped up the slash across her stomach to try and jumpstart some kind of healing process, with a bonus of keeping her too dark blood inside her gut instead of on my floor. The tape and tightly wrapped bandages did stop her leaking, though I have no fucking clue if it's doing any fucking good for healing. I lay beside her on the floor for a few hours, watching her breathe like she was a friend I was desperate to protect rather than a potential spree killer I'd hauled out of a murder scene. At least, murder scene seemed right, and I'd ruled out Brawl Gone Bad. I'd spent the day trying to think through other ways 7 people could have died without any furniture having been flipped over, and 8 equally pissed off supernaturals didn't make the list of possibilities. None of them had weapons, but Ethereans don't need weapons. But if the erebite is the only one who survived, shit, then I'm the dumbass who dragged a murderer home. I told Styx neither of us was coming in. Jay came back out of my bed-sized bedroom. You don't have to stay, I said for the 14th time. Yeah, I do. Jay sank down onto the couch behind me. She blink? Twitch? Nope. She die? Nope. Fuck. Yep. I didn't know I meant it until it popped out. Shit. I rolled onto my back and dug the heels of my hands into my eyes. How long do you think she can stay like that? Jay asked. No fucking clue. Just ask. He knows he's an ass. Who's your shadiest contact? What? I'm fucking a corporeal specter. How far down the well of dark shit in Manhattan can you reach? What specter are you fucking? I opened my eyes to find Jay leaning forward in his seat, his face above mine, something close to worry giving a slight wrinkle to his brow. None of your business. I closed my eyes again. It sure as fuck is if you're thinking of bringing them in on this bullshit I've been fucking dragged into. I sprang to my feet, using the last of my remaining self-restraint to not bash the shit out of Jay's nose on the way. You can leave whenever you want. Say no. Since when are you a fucking coward? The fuck I can, Jay stood. Thank fuck. Coward. I carried that shit, he pointed to the girl, out of Styx. If she fucking slaughtered Ethereans, I'm not fucking leaving her with you and risking her breaking the fuck out to go on a fucking murder spree through fucking Manhattan. I don't know how your fucked up werewolf brain works, but letting a fucking murderer go skipping off into the fucking wild is not the kind of shit I want the universe fucking blaming me for. So what the fuck specter are you fucking, and why the fuck do you want to bring them in on this shit? Jay panted, fists and teeth clenched. Nick Levine. I dragged my fingers through my smoke and booze-scented hair. And before you ask, he was cursed, not damned. Fuck. Jay dug his knuckle into the bridge of his nose. Fuck. Do you have a better contact? Fuck. Was that a yes fuck or a no fuck? It's a fuck you. Of course I don't have a worse fucking contact than a fucking corporeal cursed fucking specter. I'm not a dumb fuck. Jay's footsteps shook the floor as he dramatically stormed the 4 feet to the corner that is my kitchen. Do you get off on fucking with dangerous shit? Is that what it is? 'Cause you could have fucking told me before wrapping this shit around my fucking neck. Shit. Do I? Have I spent the last month tossing myself into dark, shady shit because I have a kink for danger I'm only now discovering since I'm finally free of my ex-Pax insular-ass bullshit and am starting to learn that people I've been taught to categorize as borderline evil are just different from us and not inherently bad at all? Shit. I'm going to find out if Nick has any Hecatean healing suggestions. You get to stay here with her. I almost reached my bedroom before turning back. And don't even think of killing her while I'm gone. Fuck off. Jay opened my fridge and stole one of my beers. You're a dick. I went into my bedroom and slammed the door behind me like a fucking 2-year-old. Not because of the beer. Jay can clean out the whole damn fridge. Working at Styx may have gotten complicated, but Lonzo didn't lie when he said I'd make bank. I can buy more beer. But fuck Creepy Jay. He's an ass who has no fucking right to shove me toward introspection. Because if I really am just finding ways to drag myself closer to darkness, what the hell kind of fucked up headspace have I fallen into? And my current general lack of survival instinct, paired with the drive to do anything that would make my mother die of horror, pointed toward Creepy Jay being right. Fucking with danger is becoming a habit I can't see a reason to break. Fuck Creepy Jay. Never fuck Creepy Jay, punch Creepy Jay. I dug into my soul, searching for some kind of regret for the genuinely unfortunate situation I'd launched Jay and me into. I managed to find a faint hint of remorse for my forcing Jay's involvement, but not a shred of oops for my own fucked up situation. I just couldn't rally the will to care. Sadly, or maybe luckily, the smoke and booze stench in my hair I did care about. We can fast forward past me showering, dressing to not look like a naive ass to Nick, and arguing with Jay on my way out. He wanted to give the girl a few more hours with tape holding her stomach together before getting another erebite involved. I told him to go fuck himself in a bunch of really inventive ways. The conversation ended with a decisive, fuck you too, and an agreement that he'd do his best to keep the girl alive if I promised to let him know if I was going to get my ass killed so he'd know not to wait around for me. His plan if I didn't make it back? Dump the probably dying girl into the dumpster behind Styx, then mysteriously find her and give her to Lonzo, thereby making her Lonzo's problem without actually telling him she'd been involved in the Styx deaths. A truly awful plan on so many levels that I couldn't be bothered to explain all of them before heading out to find Nick. Well, not find. I know where to go if I want to see Nick. It's more a matter of him wanting to see me. And I know, fucking around with a guy who does the supernatural version of ignoring my calls like 60% of the time qualifies as pathetic, but being on the shitty end of the power dynamic doesn't even rank in the top 10 problems of the night. Because it was night, 10 p.m., creeping up on 21 hours since I'd found the bleeding girl in the room of dead Etherians by the time I reached Nick's tether. Well, a point of his tether chain. I know luck is a weird word to use when saying anything about a cursed corporeal specter, but Nick is kind of lucky. Even after he was cursed and killed, Nick still had friends who loved him enough to find a Hecatean to move his tether from the sewer where he drew his last breath to a trendy little corner in Harlem. Harlem? I'm going to take a drink. Yes, I did that annoyingly loudly. For comedy.
I once accidentally burst into a funeral in Harlem.
Yes, you did.
That was awkward.
You did. That was awkward. Have you told that story on this podcast? Maybe we'll tell it later because that's a funny story.
Well, it was horrific.
Yeah, it was horrific.
Interrupting a funeral is never a fun time.
No.
Like sometimes you think of interrupting a wedding and you're like, yeah.
I never do that.
Good.
You are,
But you think of interrupting a funeral and you're like, no, that there is no good outcome.
Yeah, no. Unless it's the corpse interrupting the funeral and then it's awesome. Or the end of the world. One of the two. Okay.
I mean, either way, it's memorable.
It is memorable.
Okay. Continue.
Even after he was cursed and killed, Nick still had friends who loved him enough to find a Hecatean to move his tether from the sewer where he drew his last breath to a trendy little corner in Harlem. And, through the overuse of his irresistible charm and growing assets, he's managed to embed enough relics, yes, I mean bone bits, in the city to give him free reign over most of Manhattan. And yes, I understand Nick having woven himself a long leash makes him neither free nor alive, but it cuts right back to my not giving enough fucks about self-preservation to care. A gem forged of a witch's blood, a Nick relic, and an intricate pattern of stone-carved runes hidden beneath a plaque marking a building as a historical landmark for being the home of some tortured human poet served as Nick's closest tether to my apartment. According to Nick, the chain of tethers kind of piggybacks him across the city, but a bit of his spirit or being, soul, I've never pressed for that particular detail. A sliver of his awareness, that feels like a safe description, stays at each relic, stretching him thinner and thinner while also making each relic a convenient way to get a hold of Nick that he definitely now wishes he'd never told me about. I stopped beside the historic plaque, aiming for the look of a casual lingerer and the tone of someone insistent but not desperate. "Nick, it's Laurie. I need to talk to you for a sec." A few cars passed. 2 women walked by. No one screamed about a lady talking to a plaque. No Nick appeared. "Nick, it's important." A man stopped behind me. "Walk away. Walk the fuck away." "Who the hell let you out this late at night?" the man said. I felt him move closer. "Doesn't anybody care enough to keep you safe?" His breath stank like a 5-day bender with no toothbrush chaser. Do not get distracted. Do not get distracted. "I'll take good care of you, baby." I caught his movement in the corner of my eye, his bold-ass human and therefore easy-to-snap hand reaching for my arm. I grabbed the fuck's hand, squeezing hard enough to satisfy my rage, getting a nice round of cracks to go with his scream as I broke a few bones. I let go, and he fell to his knees, his wailing gaining a crowd-attracting, panting shriek. Shit, shit. I thumped my fist on the plaque, a bold move I'd never dared before. "Nick, now!" With the kind of too quick movement that makes you doubt your own mind, Nick appeared beside me, frowning down at the screaming man. "Am I meant to be proud of your handiwork?" Nick's lips curved into a delicious grin as he looked up at me. "I'd assumed you capable of much larger prey." "Oh, shit!" A girl stopped 10 feet away, bouncing like a panicked little rabbit. "Oh, shit! Someone call 911! "Sir, are you okay?" More concerned humans piled on. "Fuck you, bitch!" Handfuckers shouted at me between piteous yowls. I turned my back on that mess, focusing on Nick. I duct-taped a Hecatean's gut back together, and it gets worse from there. I winced at my horrific yet accurate elevator pitch of doom. It worked. A spark of interest lit Nick's eyes, a genuine gleam that screamed, "Not human!" "I need information, and I don't know who else to trust." I held his gaze, letting it burn into me, acknowledging to the whole damn universe that I'd just asked a favor of a supernatural a hell of a lot stronger than I. And it loops right back around to not being able to find the will to care. Again. "I guess I won't be going back to the Hollow tonight." Nick reached for my hand. My heart stuttered as my skin met his, a delicious tingling spreading through my entire body as we laced our fingers together. The humans were still fussing about the fucker's hand, but it was all just a dull buzz that didn't matter. Nothing mattered but the faint tingle that tickled my skin like pleasure distilled into a breeze, spreading up my arm and across my chest, and not from lust, from Nick. Whatever dark magic fuels his form offers a hell of a lot more than a normal skin-on-skin touch. A graze of his thumb across my breast sends seismic waves rippling out through all of me, and it's not just his hands that hold that magnificent power, but that magnificence can't, to the best of my knowledge, heal a Hecatean, so I focused on following Nick instead of how quickly I could rip open his pants. You're welcome. I did that just for you.
Thanks, babe.
How quickly I could rip open his pants.
Okay, you can
and
just
grab that dark magic deck. Okay, what?
Christopher!
Can I not say that? We say fuck on this all the time. Can I not say that?
I mean, I guess you can. I just wasn't expecting it. Sorry, Mom.
Should I cut that?
No, I mean, we call him a dick in this. We say fuck a lot. I can't.
I know.
If it felt right to you,
it felt right.
Well, you're the actor. Okay, so I guess we keep going.
So I could rip open his pants and grab that dark magic peen?
Oh, no.
I don't like that either. That's gross.
That velvet wrapped steel.
Oh, okay. I'd followed Nick like this. Jeez, we're a mess. I'd followed Nick like this twice before and learned the first time not to look too closely at where he was leading me. Whether or not the staircase had been there a moment before didn't matter. Accepting its current realness and not considering the slight pulsing shimmer as my weight hit each step gave the best chance of reaching the painted black door at the bottom without nails on a chalkboard screeching through my brain. Nick put his hand on the back of my waist, shepherding the mortal into his realm as he opened the door and we crossed the threshold. Ice-cold nausea slammed into my stomach, and a voice in my head screamed I'd just made a horrible mistake, but 2 steps later, the feeling disappeared and the well-manufactured piece of Nick's lair surrounded me. Half crypt, half upscale bachelor pad, the fireplace and whiskey-scented air offered the kind of unbothered calm I can't remember finding anywhere else. However did you find a Hecatean? Nick kissed the back of my hand. Can't tell you that bit. I watched Nick's face for any hint of anger. If anything, he looked more entertained, his smile spreading to crinkle the corners of his eyes. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey. What kind of Hecatean? Don't know. Nick's eyes gleamed with an unmistakable internal light as he handed me my glass. How much do you care for the Hecatean? Don't know her at all. So you won't go trading your soul to save her? He held up his glass for a toast. Not a single sliver of my withered soul. I clinked my glass to his. He tossed his drink back and headed for the stone wall beside the fireplace where carved runes, witches' blood gems, and kinds of rocks I've never recognized created a maze Nick alone understood. I shot my whiskey, trying to let the burn remind me that pain hurts as I watched Nick trace his finger through the runes, ending with a probably unnecessary flourish, a heartbeat before a battered old metal door appeared in the wall. Faint, thumping club music ruined the peace of Nick's lair. He reached for me. I set my glass down, ready to follow a glorified ghost through the kind of magical door Etherians aren't supposed to go anywhere near. I want to say I hesitated, wondering if I was willing to toss myself this far down the well for a girl I don't even fucking know, or at least that I actively chose self-destruction when I followed Nick. But I can't let myself lie to you about any of this. Nick didn't take my hand when I reached him. He put his hand behind my waist again, ready to guide me through the door. But then he stopped and reached up, tucking a lock of still damp hair behind my ear, trailing his fingers across my cheek, down to my chin, tipping my face up, brushing his lips against mine. And the brilliant, breath-stealing, irresistible lure I swear Nick knows he has pierced the center of my chest, pulling me toward him like gravity embodied in one fucking kiss. The aching bliss of it lingered after his lips left mine, keeping sense swirling out of reach as I ignored the agonizing, gurgling death wail coming from inside the club and strolled right into the 13th door. Swear you'll read my next email, even if you hate me. Love, L. I had to take that pause because L was on another page.
You had to make a vocal choice for the page break.
Dark magic dick, man. Okay, speaking of
this is what happens when we were on the road for so long.
You know, it's funny, we keep making excuses for why we're as fucked up as we are. I think it's just time to admit that we're messed up.
No, I feel like we're a little extra squirrely right now.
Maybe? I don't know. Dial maybe 1 if we're extra squirrely.
Just because my eyeballs are cold.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of weird.
It is. I mean, the thing is, we spent the most amazing, educational, yet restful
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. Well, I don't know if I'd call it... Well, no, it was kind of restful, I guess.
Well, we were in a platform tent by a river doing, like, the epitome of touch grass, because there were a couple little blades of grass growing up through the floor of the platform tent. So you kind of touched grass whether you wanted to or not.
That's true.
And wow, brain go kaboom.
Brain go kaboom. Yeah, it's true.
Like my brain is the kaboom emoji, and it's one of those like my soul got so rested and my creative well so refilled that the shell of my physical being and my brain that does processing tasks are like, ugh.
Yeah. And it's been really, like, I've been so grateful that 2 of the 3 days, wow. 2 out of 3 days I've been at Universal Studios.
Wait, we've only
been back for 3 days, yeah. Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, and today is Monday, right? I'm not making that up. Yeah.
Is it Monday?
It is Monday.
I haven't left the house in a while.
Yeah. It's Monday. I know, but it feels like we've been back for like a week, and we've only been back for 3 days. But 2 of those 3 days I've been at Universal, and the really cool thing about being in Atmosphere is that a lot of us are back there working on other creative projects during our downtime. So I was able to, this actually leads us kind of into what I wanted to talk about now. You know what? Actually, let me back up because I want to talk about the chapter first, and then we'll talk about retreat stuff. Does that sound good?
Back it up.
So first of all, what are your feelings? How are you feeling about where the story is going and how close we're getting to wrapping up this portion of it?
I feel like it's the same as I always end when someone asks me, like, how close to the end of the book are you? Ooh. Like, I know where this is ending.
Yeah.
And it feels like I have one more email.
Yeah.
But
it could
who's
be 2.
to say? And that's kind of where I'm at. Where, like, I'm really happy with how this mini-series novelette has gone. But I have the we're about to wrap it up nerves.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But the thing that I do like, I will say is that much like wrapping up Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer and that portion of Ella's story, is that wrapping up a book is way better than wrapping up a series. Yes. And it's kind of like that with Laurie too, where like this is not the last time I intend to touch Laurie's story.
Is it still going to be Another Words for Fun? Is that what it is?
No, I think it's going to be
next season's going to be different.
I think it's going to be In Other Terms for Love.
That's too sweet sounding. I don't trust you.
I know. Isn't it great?
God, no, it's not great. It's horrifying.
Because And Other Words for Fun is like,
oh my God, are you going to kill Laurie? I'm kidding. I know that she does.
Yes, she dies before Ella is ever born.
You know what? I'm just realizing something. Not that this has anything to do with Star Wars, but I'm like, I'm really enjoying this, even though I know she dies. And I'm going, oh shit, I really need to give Rogue One another shot. Yeah. By the way, that's not a spoiler. Rogue One literally follows the people who went and got the plans for the Death Star. And we know from episode 4 that they die.
You also know that from this point in Laurie's timeline to the point where she actually dies, she had a whole lifetime.
It's, yeah.
Like, if you look at it, she did so much. We are not near the end of her story. She did so much.
Sorry.
Like, there's a long time for her to have that happy ending vibe before she dies.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of time for her to be happy, which is why I don't feel bad about it. It's not like we're spiraling to the point where Laurie has a tragic death.
Yeah.
We are beginning her story, and yes, it does have an unfortunate ending, but after she raises a daughter.
Yeah, it's true. A daughter who is... I'll go ahead and say it. It is probably far more important to the Etherians than Laurie ever was.
And she raised her to be strong and confident. And Laurie got to live a life with a man she loved. So, like, it does suck that she died young, but she got to have a good life. So I don't feel like...
Because what was she, in her late 30s, early 40s?
She would be about 40.
Around our age,
which is still, like, really young, especially for a werewolf, but...
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
But she's
a juvenile.
Between where we are in Laurie's story and where she dies, there is a lot of possibilities for joy.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't feel like I'm ramping you up to lose someone.
Yeah. That's deep, man. Yeah, sure. That's deep. Okay. I want to go back to Dark Magic Nick See what I did there? Okay. So
Why?
it was funny. It occurred to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like you planting the fountain in Heart of Smoke or Soul of Glass. It is. There's this fountain that you plant, and you talk about it a few times so that when you need it, it's not just out of the blue, right? Mm-hmm. You mention her fucking a specter in the second part of the story. Mm-hmm. And now we're in part 4, and now he's needed for the story to continue. I thought that was fun. So you knew that. You had planned that out.
Yes, because she needs a connection deeper into the underworld to get where she's going.
Okay.
And so Nick is that connection. And it's not that she is twining herself together with someone who is inherently evil, who is, someone you could never forgive yourself for associating with. She just happens to know someone who happens to have connections in a bad place.
One of the things I really enjoyed about Nick is, and you saw me write this down when we were doing our read aloud edits, is I was like, oh my gosh, we're playing with different realms. Now, you have often done this in your books, but not to this degree. Like, I feel that the only other time we have seen it quite to this degree is in Tethering with the Sirens realm. Because it's just it is a realm apart from ours completely. The reason I'm so excited about this is because it opens up a huge world of possibilities for Ella. And for the Laurel series and for the Sagebrook series that you have planned as well. So is that something that can you tell us if you're planning on using that at all in those series? This kind of nether realm feel, like these tunnels that are hidden beyond our reality.
Here's
at the very least.
The thing.
Yeah.
They very much exist in Ella's world. Mm-hmm. They very much do not exist in Laurel.
Okay, I see. So these are not okay. So then the pathways that Nick is using, is he not conjuring those up?
He is conjuring them up.
Okay, so
nothing like that can exist in Laureldale.
Oh, what about Sagebrook?
That's across the line.
Okay, because that's erebite territory.
It's not erebite territory. Vampires are allowed. It's still not going to be erebite territory. There's no way in hell a Blackwood witch is going to let erebites that close to her home.
Really?
Absolutely not.
So those vampires, but they're Etherean?
Vampires are Etherean.
Then why the hell aren't they allowed on the Blackwood? Because of the werewolf treaty. Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Okay.
And the werewolves protect they protect the land. So in order to
Blackwood territory. Okay.
So in order to keep the Blackwood territory safe, the werewolves protect it. So then the vampires are kept on the other side. But erebites do exist in Ella's world.
Right. Yes.
But they do not exist in Laureldale.
Okay.
Which is one of the reasons that she's there.
So can you hint? Can you let us know at all if she's going to ever leave the confines of Laureldale in the series?
Yes.
She is?
Yes.
So there's a possibility she could come across this stuff?
Yes.
Not while she's in Laureldale.
But there's not going to be someone who can conjure another door that just magically appears in Laureldale.
Okay.
She has been put in a very protected place.
Right.
She is not in an easy to access.
Not that protected. Did you see what happened at the end of book 1?
It's a problem.
It is a problem.
That kind of makes it a bigger problem.
Oh, shit. All right. Well,
because it can't be an erebite.
Oh, okay. So are we talking about the thing that killed Clara now? I'm convinced. I think I said this on the last episode, so I don't feel bad saying this. And Megan has not told me, so I'm not spoiling anything. I'm convinced it's a hunter. Like, I am convinced it is a hunter at this point. Oh my God. I can't wait. Speaking of, I cannot wait. And then we'll get to retreat stuff. But I cannot wait to get to our kind of, what were we calling it? It's not a recap episode because we already did that, but like revisiting book 1. I think that's what we'll call it, revisiting book 1 before we get into book 2. But as I've been proofing it, And I did actually have to take a break because of just life has been insane. But I am so stoked to get back to it because I'm loving it. But revisiting it, I'm finding things and I'm like, oh shit. Oh my gosh, this is this. You're telling us so much right now. And I did not catch it until I had read the book already. So I implore you, go back and read it. There's actually, I'm going to say this and Megan can tell me if I have to cut it, and I won't say what it is, but there is something that is out there that no one has caught on to yet. And it's fascinating. It is a glaring thing, and not one of you that has reached out to us has said anything about it. And it's kind of a big deal. So it's, well, not a big deal. It's just, it's cool.
Wait, about the thing that already happened? Oh, yeah. No one's caught that.
No one's caught that yet. Mm-mm. And I mean, do you agree? It's not like a big deal, but no. But it's just cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing. Anyway. Okay. So retreat stuff. What is it that I was really excited to talk about? Oh, I know what I was going to say. So you were talking about wrapping up a book versus wrapping up a series. I didn't know, as a non-author, that is apparently across the board something that authors hate. Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about that. Why do you hate wrapping up series so much? Because I can't speak to this. I can
feels
guess.
Like my ribs are a chalkboard and writing is nails just scratching around. It's awful because you are making yourself both go back through all your old work, which as someone with imposter syndrome is always like just like, I don't know.
Isn't that most of you?
No, some people really like rereading their own work, which,
that would be me. I'm that asshole.
Good for people with confidence. I don't fit into that realm. But rereading your own work is just, it's a lot. It is panic inducing. And then you're also trying to say goodbye to these characters that you spent so long with. And you're trying to stop nitpicking yourself because you have all of these threads.
Fast forward to the end of the year when we finally say goodbye to Guilds of Ilbrea.
I don't.
Yeah.
But and then making sure that every single, now you're making me cry.
Sorry.
Making sure that every single tiny thread has been woven and tied and it's nicely there, but you didn't put it nicely there
and
because
it also doesn't matter happy. Because there will still be people who are like, you didn't tie up all the threads. It's
but making sure that you did it something that's true to the story, but that you can live with yourself for doing these horrible things to these characters that you treated like little kittens, bringing them up for nothing. It's a lot. It's a lot.
We're raising them for the slaughter.
Really, literally.
Yeah. Don't worry though. You will never leave as many loose ends as the final episode of Lost.
All right, moving on.
Am I wrong? So something else that we discussed while we were at the retreat, and this was kind of across the board, and I talked about this on my TikTok. So if you're following page by page on TikTok, you will have heard this already. If you're not, what are you waiting for? Go check it out. I'm cool, yo. So what? I learned how to talk like that at Horror Makeup Show. Skibbity toilet and stuff. I don't know. But we talked about the two things that almost all of us are now going to be focusing on. Mm-hmm. Selling direct. Mm-hmm. So that said, y'all, not just Megan, but your other favorite authors, go and see if they have a direct store, if they have their own storefront. If they do, go buy their books there, because it is just it is better to give your money to small businesses than it is to give it to, can I say it on here? To larger ones. We'll just leave it at that. The other thing that we're all going to start focusing on, translations. Mm-hmm. And we have decided, we talked about it, and we decided to start with German translations. Mm-hmm. And that's actually something else I think most of the authors at the retreat are going to do, because Germany, they're huge readers.
It is a massive reader market.
Yeah, it really is.
And I want to start with German because it is the bigger market, but my goal is, and I haven't said this to you yet, so if we have to snap, cool. But my goal is to do a few tester books in German. We're going to start with Ember and Stone because Romanticy is having a moment in Germany, and you know what? I am going to hop on that wave, man.
Yes, you are.
But my goal right now is to put some books in German to see how the system works, see how it goes, but then to also spread into Spanish.
Yes, that was I was hoping.
Because with events like the Miami Book Fair, where there are a lot of Spanish readers, I would love to have something that I can offer them.
Well, it's also the second most widely spoken language in the country, right? I'm not making that up, right?
Well, and we go to a lot of events where that's applicable because we are in Florida.
Yes.
And I would love to be able to offer readers at least some of my titles in Spanish. And I think the reality is I don't know if it's going to be feasible to get my entire
catalog
into any language.
And, I don't think so.
But I'm hoping to at least get like the most popular titles into German, into Spanish, and then expand from there. But I think German and Spanish need to be my top two priorities.
I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. That is all I have. Was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Oh, I did want to add something. So,
yes, please.
Christopher has been working very hard on my storefront at meganarussell.com to make it look pretty. So just swing by meganarussell.com. That's ORUSSELL. And just take a look at all the really good work he did.
Thank you.
And one more thing that we are working on right now, and it came up when I was talking to the other authors, but it is something that I had in mind for a while, is moving my reader community that exists through my newsletter over to Substack. Because with having page by page on the Substack and the Sketchbook of a Wayward Seer advanced reader team and my subscribers for that over on Substack, figuring out that I have the ability to interact with readers on that platform has been great. And so what I want to do is slowly start to migrate my reader community that is my newsletter over onto Substack. So the people who are on my newsletter list will still be experiencing the newsletter the exact same way they have. It'll have slightly different visual formatting, but that'll be it. But the newsletter people who are on Substack already will have the ability to interact with the newsletters as though they are more like social media posts.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to comment, to like, to interact with each other. So that's something else that sort of came from this retreat that I'm really excited about.
Yeah. I think the more ways that we can reach people, the better. And Substack is just more interactive. It invites interaction more than a newsletter.
Yeah, because a newsletter kind of feels stagnant, where like some people will respond to you, but they're responding to you, and that's just, it's this private line of communication, which is great.
Yes.
But it's not allowing other readers to join in on that conversation.
Yeah.
And that's something that I want to do.
And people can still communicate with you directly on Substack.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And even through the way the newsletter sends, they'll be able to respond to it the exact same way that they would through newsletters. Like, it will still do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just that if they want to choose a more interactive experience, it will be available to them.
And we are not saying that you should forego a newsletter in the interest of doing something like Substack. What we are saying...
No. If you are an author, you absolutely need a newsletter. You
must have a newsletter.
It's just Substack allows you to preserve a contact list of your dedicated fan readers while having a social media like platform that allows interaction. So it kind of becomes this really great blend of owning your contact list, so that it's not like if you just have a Facebook group and Facebook kicks you off, there is no way to get a hold of those group members ever again. That's done. But if you have a newsletter and the platform crashes, you still have that CSV of your readers, so you can hop on another platform, send an email out and be like, hey guys, this is where I am now. You don't lose that information. And so Substack allows you to do both, where you still have that information where you can reach your readers but they can also interact with you.
Yeah. Speaking of Substack, where you can find Page by Page, the podcast, why don't you tell them where else they can find us?
You can find us on all of your popular podcast platforms. And please do hit that subscribe button because it does nice things for numbers, apparently. Also, please like, rate, comment, all those things that please algorithms. And do come check us out on Substack. There is going to be another blog post going out with world building lore. And the text of this week's episode email chapter thing will be posted on Substack as well. So do come and hang out with us here. And yes, please tell Chris that he did a good job on the storefront because he has spent so much hours and my eyeballs are cold. So many hours and praises his love language.
Oh my gosh, it is.
It really, there is nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's okay. All right. And in the meantime, thank you for joining us for this episode of Page by Page Podcast.
And as always, thank you for reading.